too small, I got big dreams.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pun Fun, where we have fun with the puns. My name is Ryan, and today, as we promised, we're gonna have Knightmare Lynch on our show. Hey Knightmare Lynch, and we also have Dan Mendoza making a second appearance. Hey guys, and as you may have seen through the title, this is the Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, hey, we're Pun Fun. We got to make that fun, and when better time than before Christmas? As you see, there's a bit, Christmas going on. We're gonna go a little heavier as we go, and along the way, and we're gonna get into it. Again, congratulations to both of you on getting engaged. Super excited. Exactly. If you guys haven't seen it or haven't heard yet, which shame on you because we've mentioned it in the previous video, but yeah, and we're super excited. Do you guys have the cover of the back of it?
I do. I have it upstairs in my bedroom. It's like up on the little nightstand.
Yeah.
So I see it every night.
It's a back cover to a mock-up of Zombie Tramp. The Zombie Tramp 56B
right
reward one. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Maybe we can have it like an image so we can like show it up. I think we saw it glance real quick, but I think the fans would love to see what you guys what it actually looks like. So we're gonna get into it. So as we've mentioned, we're gonna talk about a few things that they have going on. We're gonna talk about a bit about Kannibal Kitty, of course, one of her creations, along with Dan Mendoza. There you go, repping the wear. Also what to wear, still a little army. So Knightmare, Knightmare Lynch, is that your actual name, or is that an alias that you use as an artist?
Both. So
there's actually a process to that, right?
Yeah, I was going by Knightmare Lynch, and then I was just like, man, I'm bored of my real name, so I legally changed it, and I was just you know what, I'm just gonna keep it Knightmare Lynch, so it's just like all around, like I don't have to worry about that old name.
Yeah, exactly.
Speak of.
The name we shall not mention. Exactly.
What was the final straw to say, like, man, I'm gonna do it myself?
Oh, you know what? It was Facebook, because I had my name Knightmare Lynch like forever on Facebook, and then they're like, oh, you know what? You can't have your name like that because that's not your real name. And I'm like, everybody fake names.
Yeah, my one's Ryan Kaboom. No way would I ever pass to the airport with
And
Kaboom.
I'm just like, why are they picking on me? And I was like, you know what? Oh, that. I was like, I'm gonna show them.
She changed it out of spite.
Exactly.
Like,
there you go, Facebook. Exactly. That's awesome. Yeah, I think I've counted like 4 right now, so we're good. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It was 1 for me and 2 for you.
It's fine, guys. As we've always, as you guys know, we try to keep it PG, but I mean, we're gonna have, obviously slip-ups as long as we go, and we'll try to keep it as PG as we can for you. So that all being said, what are your background, besides the your cool background we're talking about, but your actual background, your origins? Yeah.
So my mom is Mexican. She's born in Mexico, the Efe. And
there you go.
My dad is Irish. I also have Swedish, Norwegian, and German on my grandparents' side.
Okay.
So
that's quite the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever tried that Ancestry? No, we're not a sponsor for them, but that Ancestry thing to see like what the breakdown is and all that. It's cool that you guys know exactly, not maybe what percentage, but where your origins or roots are from. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. I only know a little just because what your grandparents tell you, and stuff they had on the wall, like or whatever. Like
that's
like
what
passed down. Yeah.
My grandma was like telling me specifically like that her parents were best friends with another couple.
Okay.
And all 3 of them were like all 100% Swedish, Irish, Norwegian, and German. So all 4 of them like had a baby, and then their best friends had a baby, and they like basically made my grandma and my grandpa like an arranged marriage, and then they came over here.
Wow.
So it used to be like O Lynch, and then they took off the O to not sound so Irish.
Really? Okay. Well, there you go.
That's almost the plot line to Coming to America.
Yeah.
Arranged marriage, and they had to do it.
And working at McDonald's.
That's how it was back then.
Yeah, there were just no elephants.
Yeah, exactly.
1916.
1916, jeez.
I
think. That's wow. You guys are like OGs. That's very cool.
That's when I was born too, 1916.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping it fresh with the Necronomicon. There you go.
Necronomicon, and I use lotion, and I drink water.
Always keep hydrated. Okay, so I mean, that's awesome. So do you actually use any of that through your books itself as well, like through your writing?
Yeah, I do use my whole like Mexican side. I like to throw in those words, even though like I don't know Spanish 100% fluently.
Right.
I was raised by a lot of my Hispanic side of the family, so I know enough to get by, and I'm just like, even in our everyday life, like I'll throw out words, you know, just because that's how it was for us growing up.
Right.
So I do like to throw in, obviously I learned all the bad words first.
like any language, we always do.
Exactly. So I throw in that aspect, but like as far as my like white side, not so much. I don't think I have like, other than just throwing in my dad in the actual comic, because
which is a great tribute, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he had just passed away, and I was just like, I want to immortalize him. I want him to be in the books. So I was just like, I'm just gonna throw him in there. So
no, awesome. And and for your writing process, or even just like even drawing, because you do draw as well. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been, tapping into this creative side of yourself?
Creatively, like my whole life, I would say I've been creative, but the whole comic book since I met this guy, because it was kind of like when I met him, I felt like, he's in such a creative career. I just wanted to be a part of it. So I wanted to help in any way that I could. So it was mostly just doing like helping out with his packing and his website, and just doing like more of the physical labor part. But then
which by the way, the service at stillil.com is amazing. You top notch. Yeah. If we had a Yelp option, 5 stars.
Awesome. It's good for the patient people. I get people that are they're newbies to the store, and they're like, oh, I put in my order like 3 days ago. When is it gonna go out? I'm like, probably in about 10 days, dude, because there's only two of us.
I guess they didn't opt for Prime on the Stillil.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no Prime option.
Yeah.
It's the real world, people.
I told them we send out the orders in the order that they came in. And I'm like, and I'll be like, you're number 87. So yeah, so it's gonna be about 10 days or more.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's actually the one that put me into all the, the whole idea of like being into this comic thing, because I started going to conventions with them.
Right.
And then, he was gonna put me in Sad Girl, and then we had a bunch of creative differences, so he told me to start my own book, and then I was like, fine. And then
awesome. Wow.
And then after that, like, it was just like,
but I mean, it's a good thing it happened.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I was like, I want to draw a cover, and he's like, yeah, okay, for Kannibal Kitty, do a cover. And then after that, I was just like, well, I kind of want to do more than just a cover for my stuff. And then he's like, okay, well then we need to practice, And then so I was just like, okay.
Here comes the schooling.
Yeah.
Man.
So
exactly.
We would practice together, and then.
So you became his apprentice.
Yep. He was just basically.
She's a Padawan.
Exactly. Hopefully she doesn't turn evil, and then
Yeah,
this is the higher ground.
If her stylist turns red, I'll be like, oh, she's got the Sith in her. I can't. There's nothing I could teach her. She's not the chosen one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the writing, I think, I like to watch a lot of movies. Like,
oh yeah.
And I think I'm like, what is that called when you like sit there and you judge movies, like a critic?
Critic, yeah.
Yeah, like Cecil and whatever their names are. I don't know.
Robert and what's his name? But yeah, no, I definitely. So you actually watch it and give like
Shalit.
And do you score it, or do you just rank them like from preference, or?
I don't sit there with numbers or anything, but I like to talk about it where I'm just like, oh, I like that, and they should have changed that, you know.
Wow.
So when we watch movies together, I'm pretty picky too. Like, I just don't like any movie. I'm really picky. So when I think about stories and stuff like that, I always think about movies and how it would play out in a movie. And usually I do that like right before I'm going to bed. Like as I'm falling asleep, I'm like, what would be cool? And I just put scenarios in my mind and I just start thinking about different stuff like that. And then we always will like run thoughts and ideas back and forth about all of our books, you know. We'll just talk about concepts and stuff, and like oh, I was thinking about doing this in the book, and then sometimes if I have to be careful, because sometimes if I have something, he'll just pick up and run off and be like, oh, and then you should do all this, and I'm like, whoa.
She'll give me a concept, and I could build a whole story arc out of that over her just saying something for 30 seconds, and I'm like, okay, and now here's how it runs down, and I'm like, and I start laying it all out, and I kind of wish that when we do these things that
it's recorded.
Yeah, we record it, because there's like some really good ideas, and then like the next day, like she'll be like, I don't want to do that, but I'm like, what about these one ideas? And then she's like, which ones? I'm like, I can't remember.
I mean, yeah, if you guys have those brainstorming sessions, or just when it kicks off, I would definitely hit record somewhere for sure, just
on our phone.
Yeah, because I think that's when you guys
usually.
Yeah.
Oh, so you hear all the background noise.
I'll go off, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what Knightmare's doing is good for her writing, because when she started doing writing and things like that, and creative writing, I think that I probably recommended to write things that she knows, and write things that have a little bit of her life in it, or just talk from your heart. So I think that's where, because as soon as she wanted to put her dad in there, it's when we started talking about that, and then she started incorporating magic, because magic is a big part of her life. So then now that's why Kannibal Kitty is such a magical character, because her dad used to love magic and do magic, and he was all about it. Like the first time I met him, he treated me to like a 30-minute magic show. He's like, how you doing? Sit down. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there with this huge magic show, and it was awesome.
Get into this box, and he starts sawing you like
he's like, how you doing? And he's like sawing himself in half. He's like, how you been? Like,
exactly. He has a split personality,
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But I think a lot of Kannibal Kitty, she's incorporating things about her personal life and her own personality into the character, which is totally the way to go, because that's basically
it's true. It's what do you call it? It's harder to just make up stuff and make believe, but if it's something that's grounded, it's a lot easier to get to roots and have it grow from there. Yeah,
it's the easiest thing to do. Like that's how I started Zombie Tramp. I'm like, well, what kind of person is she? So I just made her narrate all the thoughts that I have about life and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like when people are like, oh, I love Jeannie, man, I love her character, I love her personality, I'm like, yeah, you're talking about me, because I mean, it's just little things that people have in their head about the world and frustrations about the world, and, and just things like that. And then her reacting in a way that no one can ever do in real life without getting arrested, you know what I mean? But people get to read that, and then they kind of side with it.
It's more of a a bond too, I think, between a reader, because it's like it's so personal, like to that person, and it comes out more real across the line, where you're just like, it's not just all bullshit. Like it's like you could kind of feel a little bit of truth in the book and the character when you're reading it, because it is true. It's coming from that person as how they view it.
Yeah, if basically you're writing about yourself, and then that comes off as more real than just making up a character that likes pizza and lives in a sewer and fights foot soldiers and shit.
Well, basically, Kannibal Kitty is just like who I would wish I was if I was a comic book character, you know, like the magical powers that I would love to be able to have,
and just a badass attitude all through.
Where I could get away with it would just be like, I mean, don't get me wrong though, I have never tried human flesh like ever in my life.
Are you sure?
Exactly. Although we do have the pound of flesh, which we were lucky to actually get a while ago.
Are you a pound of flesh winner?
Yeah, I don't know if you see it there, but it's like in the corner here. It's like I think it's either a thumb or a toe. It's like one of the bigger.
That was the first run when we were giving out body parts.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think if it was like a survival thing, I mean, you know, like that plane crash movie where they had to like eat people to survive.
Oh, right.
Alive, yeah. I'm like, I guess I would, but
they were just eating butt cheeks, so this is just weird. It's so curvy.
It's fatty.
Yeah, like, exactly, it's very fatty. But I guess you missed it less. It's less muscle you're getting. Anyways, we're getting off track here. We get flagged for, you know, all kinds of. I mean, I hope this doesn't fall into the weird part of YouTube because of this. But anyways, it doesn't. So again, so with the creativeness, so as we've seen through your covers, there's a lot of homages to the movies that you enjoy, that you loved growing up. And the comic book side, is there any comics that you currently read, or is it more the horror genre that you're putting towards your comics?
I do have some that I'm reading right now.
Or that you read,
and I actually had a really small collection before I even met this guy. So like I wasn't like an avid collector where I was like hard. I mean, okay, so I'm really into art. I'm one of those people that when I was introduced to comics, I was big time into the covers because I am a big lover of art. I have a bunch of favorite artists, painters, whatever. Anyways, so I love Sam Keith. Well, actually, first let me rewind that. Hold up.
Sure.
First, my very first like favorite artist was Frank Frazetta, and I was just like in love with his style. I thought his shit was like amazing. And then somebody was like, "Oh, have you ever seen Sam Keith's stuff, the Max?" And I was like, "What? No, what's this?" And then they showed me, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, like Sam Keith is dope. I love the way he draws all his women," and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, the Max is so cool." So I actually started looking for, and this was like probably when I was like in my 20s. So I started looking for Max covers, and every store that I went to, they would either have only one, and it was like the cover that I already have.
Right.
And then I was just like, oh, this is too much. So I was like, never mind. So I started liking the video game Darkstalkers. And so I started collecting those covers. Cool. And then after that, so I have a couple characters because I really love Felicia. I love cats. I love cat girl. So I was like, oh my God, Darkstalkers, I want to find those. And then then Sam Keith ended up coming out with the Batman secrets, and that was new. So I was just like, oh shit, I could start collecting these.
Right.
I collected like one or two.
I have them.
And then
I got them.
Exactly.
And then so after that, I was just kind of like, man, like, you know, in order to have like these dope ass collections, you have to like have money to spare, you know. So at that age of my life, I was like car payments and all that stuff. So I was like, I can't do this. But yeah, so that was like my whole like, oh, sorry, no. I also like Emily the Strange. I love how dark and how like witty but dark humor she has.
Right. And even the aesthetic was
yes,
very Tim
colors.
Burton's, and then it just
yes,
meshed. Yes, very cool.
Yeah. I love Emily's Dream, and of course, again, all the black cats. I'm like, oh my god, I love black cats.
Of course.
I even got the little black kitty tattooed on my leg, the Nietzsche one.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then, as currently, I started reading Snot Girl because that's so me. When I saw that shit, I was like, oh, look at this girl. I'm like, oh my god, that's me. I need to know about this. And it's really dark. I like it. I like how dark it is.
No, the covers are great. Even the first cover, you know, she's there and you see like the, you know, it's dripping down. I was kind of like, Snot Girl, really? And then I read it and I was like, you know what? This is actually, who would have thought?
Yeah, it's dope.
The art's really nice.
Yeah, I love the colors. It's so kawaii, and it's just like,
it's very almost fashion designer style, you know,
yes.
with the elongated bodies and everything. That's really nice.
Yeah. I like read the first 3 volumes
while we were on vacation.
When we were taking the channel from England to France, and I was just like, oh my god, these are so good.
And that's what's great about it too. It's an easy read. Like you know, it's full
time.
of details, but you go through it so easily. Yep, awesome. So speaking of actually going through that, and I know you talked a bit about your writing process. So now for your drawing process, because you know you have art. So as we've seen, there is a print that was provided earlier on. There's actually a few covers that you've done before as well. I even have the cards here. Like, so you have this one here. We also have this one here with the 2 black cats as well.
It's like a tarot card. I was trying to make it look like tarot cards because I'm into tarot.
That honestly, that would, if Kannibal Kitty had her own tarot line, or even Still Ill in general would have a tarot line, I think that.
She always talks about that, but I'm like, you know how much time that's gonna take.
Yeah, because there's a shit ton of cards, you know.
Absolutely.
I gotta hire someone to do that because I'm not doing it.
There's so many arcanas that it's just like there's the major and the minor, so it's just like maybe just do one set first, and there's so many cards.
Or maybe like a 1 card per Kickstarter kind of thing, and then at a point you have like a deck. You guys are better at this than I am for sure.
I know it would. The thing about Kannibal Kitty is that I was planning on only just trying to like do 6 issues, and that was it. Because I don't know, I kind of was just doing this because I felt like he was challenging me about like, well then do your own. So I was just like, fine, I will, you know. And then so I was just like, I'm gonna keep it like a short little arc, you know, just 6 issues, and then, you know, it's fun though. Like it really is.
It really
like
is.
I actually just started lettering. Like I was never in that part of helping out because he's such a control freak.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna do it.
But I was just like, I want to be able to letter my own book because I'm the one who's writing it, you know. So I was just like, all right, let me show you. And then
she just finished yesterday lettering Kannibal Kitty. So
yeah, that was really fun.
And this is the 4th book.
This is 3. This is Kannibal Kitty 3. She just finished lettering it, so
good.
Now we can send the digitals out to everybody and go to print, so we can start fulfilling that next. Because Sugar Pop is pretty much done. We gotta get the guys packing the last 30 packages, but they're the huge packages. They're like the gigantic order packages.
And we were waiting for some medals that got messed up, and then
we're still waiting on a couple things. But
so we're probably gonna send out everything before those even get finished because we don't want to wait anymore.
Yeah. But, absolutely. And if you guys haven't read yet, there's the Kannibal Kitty 1 and 2 that you can still get at the Still Ill store at any time. There's also digital versions you can also get as well. And if ever you get onto their Kickstarter, a lot of times they'll actually provide the older versions so you can actually, you know, climb on board, but also get caught up with all this. What's great is that, like you said, it's not obvious for a collector to start later on and then start collecting because there's so many books everywhere. But what's great is that you guys actually do make it accessible to everyone, even sometimes with newer covers and you know, so it's always a new experience as you know, even when you purchase the next one further down.
Most of the covers they're exclusive only to Kickstarter, so if we have them in our store, it's just a couple leftovers that we had.
Exactly.
But we always make a store variant that we sell as just that store variant.
And we take them to conventions.
And we take them to shows.
Absolutely.
And a new thing that we're probably going to start is that when we do these store variants, that there probably won't be any kinky versions. They'll just be the regular cute cover.
Okay.
So then it's kind of like, if you want those nude version covers, then you should have jumped on that Kickstarter kind of thing. It's just easier at conventions too, because especially if you're getting people interested in what you're publishing, they kind of want to spend the cheapest amount of money, so they'll just grab that regular cover anyway.
And also they're usually with their families and their kids, and they're like, oh, I don't really want to buy that. But then you'll have that one like bachelor that's like, oh hell yeah.
Don't need to cover your mouth.
It's okay. That ship has sailed. Yeah,
that ship has sailed, babe. You've been sworn filthing it.
Yeah, like a sailor, but it's fine. I mean, we'll get through this together. Don't worry.
One of the first things that she told me, she's like, just to let you know, I cuss a lot. And
I do, but you know what? I read that people who cuss a lot are considered more honest than people who don't. It was like a study that they did. I've
read that, but I've also read that they're more approachable too. So they're usually, because they're like open, not spirited, but like very open with their language. I think that also invites people to come along and talk.
Yeah. That's exactly how it is, because I'm way more approachable than this guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. When we go to shows, C2E2 coming up in a couple weeks, by the way. When we go to shows, it's kind of like they'll only talk to Knightmare. They are scared to talk to me. So
really,
yeah.
He usually has like that mug, like
he's
I'm
like
dry,
in his
like,
sketch,
or like he'll just have like this, like, I don't know that.
I remember the first time meeting Dan at one of the, I think it was, I remember meeting him the first time, and I was just like, okay, like, do I wait for him to like finish, or do I like go approach it? And the show wasn't even started yet. I had gotten in like an hour earlier, and he was like already starting, and I was like, Dan, and he's like, oh hey. But as soon as you approach him, he's all
he's super nice. It's just, I think, it's like you, like when you don't know a dog and you're just kind of like,
don't give it your fingers, give it like that in case it's
I don't know if they're a nice dog or a mean dog.
And by the way, that Kickstarter was amazing. Congrats again, it went through.
That was so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and there was an opportunity for people to get the statues. There's an opportunity for people to get back into the zombie tramp world, and it was the artist lineup amongst you, Dan, and even Bill and everybody else. I mean, it was just star-studded all the way through. It was beautiful.
Had to have Bill in there.
Yeah, you got to put Bill in there.
Absolutely.
It was important that I put many of the people that came in off Zombie Tramp, so I made sure Team Chew was in there.
Yeah.
Since we did the first monthly series run and stuff like that. Bill McKay, because he's done more Zombie Tramp covers than anybody. Just little things like that. But,
I don't think I would ever see you guys do like a project or Kickstarter without having Bill involved. Like, you guys go together so well, like EB&J.
Like lamb and tuna fish.
Spaghetti and meatball.
Yeah, spaghetti and meatball.
Okay, so that's... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was saying, he's a homie.
Oh, yeah.
We had him for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he came over for Thanksgiving.
No, we saw that. That's amazing, because now you guys are all, in Michigan. I think that's where the new, what is it? If it's not Arizona, now it's Michigan, the new hotspot for independent artists.
All right.
Oh, yeah. So we were talking to the artists, Isaac Bell and Alexa Lowe, and we're like, you guys should come fucking move to Michigan.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to plan a visit where we could tour them around and talk them into moving to Michigan. We start building.
Hopefully, you guys get a cut from like those what do you call it? Real estate, and like even Michigan itself for tourism. Like,
yeah, I want a property tax break for bringing people.
Well, I mean, why
not? We saw Resident Evil, the Raccoon City, and we were joking about how the city that we live in,
the little town we live in,
basically Raccoon City.
It looks like Raccoon City. It's all just used up and spit out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
I'm like, doesn't that look familiar?
Yeah, we're definitely...
What would happen if they pan and you see your home? You're like,
what? That was my house. Yeah, we're definitely in. We're not in the decline of this town. I think we're in the ascension where the building is started with new, younger, fresh ideas and people, which is so awesome. Just, it's going to be amazing. In about 10 years, this place is going to to pop.
Oh, for sure.
And there might be an Uber driver too.
Yeah, maybe more.
Yeah, there's one Uber driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys know this person like in and out then?
We haven't even tried it.
Never even tried
Oh,
it.
okay.
So, yeah.
I mean,
that's why everybody in this town drives drunk.
oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
That's good. So for your artwork, you usually we would get into like, what do you prefer usually, if it's digital or the classic, pencil and paper. So as you said, you're getting acquainted to the digital side, but you're very comfortable and you have, like you said, more control at the moment on paper and pen.
Yeah.
For your piece, because we had mentioned this before, where Dan will keep going and building on his art, and there's a point you need to cut off, and sometimes that's you. For your own art, how does that work? When do you know that this is enough and this is perfect as it is, and I can now, submit it, or at least have it, reviewed?
Submit it to Dan.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I get bored of seeing it too much, I'm just like, again, like I want to work on something else. Like it's just like, when I keep seeing it and it's just like, it just becomes boring and I'm losing that like element of like, oh my God, this is fun. Like, I'm just like, okay, I need to stop, so there's been times where like my very first cover that I did for Kannibal Kitty 1, I think I spent like, I don't know, maybe almost like 2 weeks on that. Like I kept tweaking and I was just like, at some point I was just like, oh man, like I want it to be perfect. And I'm not gonna lie, like he gave me pointers. He was just like, if I were you, I would kind of, work on that and, kind of, relook at that. And so it was just kind of like, okay, so after just like being kind of just teached in the right way, it was just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna try to make this guy proud. So I was just like, a couple times like I was just erasing the whole thing and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna start over. And then I was just like, okay, fine, I think this has been enough time on this cover, so I'm tired of looking at it. I'm done.
Well, yeah, I mean that's actually, that's something that's really tough for anybody who's in any creative domain or industry, to know when to stop. And sometimes even later on in life you'll go back and you'll retouch it because you're like, oh, you know what, with the new skills that you've acquired, you'll go back and you'll redo. So who knows, maybe 5 years from now when we see other covers that you'll come out with, the evolution of where it was to where it is, we're just excited and hope, we can't wait to see what that will look like, down the road as well. Because right now you're killing it, so I can only imagine what's to come.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's already covers that I'm kind of like, I can't believe I actually thought that was cool. Like for Kannibal Kitty 2, I'm just like,
that's me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I was like, you know what? I could give away one of my covers, but I don't feel proud of that, so I don't even want to give it away. But that first one, I'm so proud, and I think it's because I spent so much time. I think that's why I still like, I always like that cover, and I'm just kind of like, I'm really proud of it. Like I'm just like,
oh yeah, as you should.
Love the way that face came out and the little kitty. Like I even put that kitty face, I used it for the lanyard that everybody's getting for Kannibal Kitty 3 around the back, and I was just like, yeah.
Very awesome. Through your books and through your writing, is there any, I mean, the first book was a tribute to your dad. The second one went definitely unhinged. I mean, it was definitely, it was crazy. I mean, even the mother cat, that was, that was insane. And I was just like, again, you guys definitely have to read this. It takes you away from the real world in a good way, so you definitely want to read those. But where'd you get inspiration for that like monstrous, behemoth cat?
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I gave him full creative control on how he wanted to make the cat
The
look.
flashback scene of when she was born.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it should be a scene of horror. You know what I mean? It should be
That horror
it should be a crazy horror element. You know, this since she has her different forms, like her demon, her beast mode, and
Right.
you know, and her human mode and her cat mode and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why should this mother be any different? She should have this insane, like, grotesque beast mode. You know what I mean? Because you never know. Cannibal Kitty could have a grotesque mode. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
That was another
know.
question. Will she ever evolve to this? Is this like her true form? You know, her final form as Cell and much.
Yeah. Perfect Cell. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm kind of like her like original form, is she was born as a kitten.
Yep.
But as she got older and kept evolving, it just kind of became the norm where she was just a human kitty, because of her father was always human, and so it's just kind of like that was where she felt most. As far as like going past her beast mode, I'm not sure.
No, yeah, maybe,
we've thrown around some ideas, and
cool.
They're really interesting. So yeah.
No, very excited. Very excited to read that. The following books to come, even the third one, which by the way was another successful Kickstarter, and we're very excited to read that as well. Coming down the line, and so for your books and. As you mentioned, you had the tribute in the first one. The second one was more, like I said, unhinged. Is there sometimes a message or something that you want to convey to your readers, having them read through it?
Yeah, I think the final arc of the whole issue will kind of relay that message that I'm trying to get across. But as far as like individual issues, I think it's more of a escape what's happening in your life today and get into this world. And that second issue was really me getting out of his world, because I was just like, I was like, he has so many rules, and I'm like,
got a lot of rules.
I can't do this, I can't do that,
Yeah.
and
that's definitely unhinged. It was definitely like you knew it was something familiar, but at the same time it was like experiencing a whole new take, a whole new direction. So you guys definitely nailed it with
It'll be little things where she'll come up to me and she's like, because it's all based in post-apocalyptic sad girl universe, and she'll be it'll just be little things where I'm sitting there working and she's like, I was thinking about this scene with Kannibal Kitty and she has this bird, right? And I'm like, there's no birds.
Oh, is that a rule? Is that a rule? There's no birds.
Like that. There's no birds. They're all dead.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see. Yeah.
I'll just start saying things like that. That's just an example, but it's not a real example. I'm just saying. It's just little things like that where I have that world so set in my brain. Yeah. Where I'm not gonna. I can't budge because I know exactly how that world works. So yeah.
I was just like, Kitty. Nah. I was like, this isn't gonna work. Like I can't be creative if I have all these limitations, so I'm just like, I'm gonna get her out, but I'm gonna get her out in a fun way. So it's not just like that typical like, a
wake up scene or something.
Yeah, like I was like, I want to make this like a big like fun way to go.
No, absolutely, yeah. Kudos. I mean, it definitely worked because now you're getting that's what's great, is that you're not always reading the same kind of story or the same kind of, how do I say it, genre, if you will, with every one of your books. So Sugar Pop has her own kind of feel, very space, very and then you have the Sad Girl, which is very post-apocalyptic. So going into Kannibal Kitty, I was kind of like, well, where does it lay? And then seeing again the direction it took, I mean, it went every single way it could have, which was amazing, which was great. It was a great read, and that's what's fun with you guys, your creativeness. It's that you could have started with any of the books and they take you on a different journey, but they all relate to each other at some point or another.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and there'll definitely be encounters with the other girls, especially Zombie Tramp, like
because
crossover
all the
events.
other girls they've already encountered each other from all the short stories from Tales of Ill and things like
and
that.
here's a little
or like even like Ilcon where they meet up for a convention. I mean, that was great. And by the way, like Dan is in it, Nightmare's in it, I'm in it. So
oh, that's right. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's funny.
I think a little like bit of information that probably what?
Don't do it.
What?
I don't know.
You don't even know what I'm saying. So nobody knows this, but when he was first doing Sad Girl 1 and we were gonna have my character Kannibal Kitty in it, the Mutsy character, that whole scene, that was supposed to be Kannibal Kitty.
Yeah.
And that was where we like, you know, I loved the way that he portrayed her.
Right.
But we, you know, because of the fact that we had so many different ideas and just kind of butt heads, that was the point in our lives when we were creating like how she was gonna be, where he was like, fine, you make your own book and I'm gonna make my own character, and that's how much it was born.
Yeah, and I went to the Dan Mendoza archive of all these characters that I drew like in the 90s. I was like, what about this cave girl that I never used?
Yeah. And it fit
awesome.
perfectly.
Yeah.
And now we have this dope ass character.
Yeah, people like her.
Yeah, she's so cute. And what's dope about her is like she's like a lot petite compared to all the other characters that we normally
exactly.
draw. So it gives a variety. It's like
at least people can identify
that.
with her. Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely.
Wait till you read Sad Girl 5.
Yeah.
Dang. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So I don't think we've ever told anybody that about the whole Mutsy thing.
No,
I don't know.
Mutsy was there because it was going to be Kannibal Kitty that was the arms
in the
dealer.
box.
Because it was beginning, it was an arms dealer. That's why she mentions that it basically Kannibal Kitty gave her the arms dealing business. Like it was, it used to be Kannibal Kitty's thing, this arms dealer, and with the magic trunk that Sad Girl has, where she can pull anything she needs out of there. Like always glows when she needs things.
That's
later on, it's because of these crystals. This is like behind the scenes stuff. Is that the reason why Sad Girl can go into her trunk and get anything she needs is because there's basically an arms dealership room that's created by Kannibal Kitty that she builds in her dreams.
Really?
So she builds these things in her dreams, and then when she comes out of her dreams, she has these crystals, and these crystals, when you line them up, you can create portals, and then that gives her access. So there's always 4 crystals on the ends of that trunk. So if you look at Sad Girl, I think it's 3, Sad Girl goes to her trunk and she pulls out the crystals and puts them in a lunchbox. So then when she goes to fight, all of a sudden she opens that lunchbox and now it's glowing again, and she reaches deep inside.
It becomes a
which
portal.
Is impossible, and pulls out her machete. You know what I mean? Because it's
that's awesome.
All that magic bag of tricks things is all created through Kannibal Kitty's dreams. It's like an endless supply of things that basically that's how Kannibal Kitty made her living back in the day. You know what I mean? Through trade and stuff like that, and she would give people the arsenry of their dreams, you know, basically, and make it infinite. So
and that was the stuff that we agreed upon, where we were like collabing towards, and we're like, all right. And then it just got to a point where it just got too intense, so it was just kind of like, all right, we're gonna cut it at that point, and then just
that's great. I mean,
that shit starts getting complex in my head, and then she's like, you're getting crazy. I'm like, no, it all makes sense.
Exactly. I mean, but I mean, this is great. So, you know, what's good, what's great about all this is that you guys are able to, as you say, be creative, butt heads, but in the end, still come out with something that, you know, works. I mean, I think Sad Girl 3, it was in the script, but I deleted it because it was just getting too many pages. But it does, Mutsy and Shirk Pop do have a conversation about that. Like, how does these crystals things work again? And Mutsy kind of explains about the Kannibal Kitty creates these things in her dreams, and That's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? That's the whole reason it exists, you know. But
There you go, guys. Behind the scenes here on, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, hey. So just to tie things up, so Knightmare, you know, being under the apprenticeship and being also, you know, creative and having so much influence, with, you know, within your writing and having so much creative, what do you call it? Not rights, but like, yeah, I guess it would be rights, because you have what do you call it? You're given the blank page, if you will. There are some criteria, but for the most part, you're in control of that story, right? Yeah. So,
Right.
if so, any aspiring writers or comic book artists that are, you know, trying to get started, or even that are in the business that are trying to channel, you know, some of their creativity, what would be your words of wisdom?
I would say to either on a full moon or a new moon, sit down and write down everything you want. I actually would say the most important is to have fun, like where you are just gonna sit down and think about creating a universe that you would want to be involved in, something that would intrigue you, because if you don't like it, how's anybody else gonna like it, you know? So
Right.
and that's the number one. Like I sit there and I'll write stuff and I'll just have a lot of fun in my own world writing stuff. And if it ever gets to a point where I'm just kind of like, oh, I have to do this because of this, then that kind of takes me back to realizing like, wait, like too many rules is just not okay. Like I just feel like you should just have fun, you know? 'Cause
Right.
these are comic books. It's not like we're writing like serious novels where it's like up for awards and shit. It's like we're doing this because first of all, it's fun for us.
Right.
But you know, it's just
And
like
it's very fun for us too.
yay.
Yeah.
I think that's just basically my number one. But yeah, it doesn't hurt to, you know, manifest what you want during those times of the lunar
she's
cycles.
into her lunar rituals.
I'm big into the moon. Like the moon. I'm sorry. I'm really big into crystals. Like I'm always wearing crystals. I believe that they
Kannibal
do
Kitty has
have
crystals.
healing. Yeah, they have. I feel like they do have healing powers. Some people don't. You know, it's all, you know, what you feel. Like it's kind of like if you believe in something, you could actually make it come true, and that's what manifesting is. And I feel like has a lot to do with where my character goes. And so I think having fun and just like make it interesting where it's like stuff that you're into, you know, like, and just have fun, man. Number one, just have fun.
But put in the work.
Oh yeah, definitely the
Slave
grinding.
driver over
Yeah.
here.
Exactly, the grinding must be real. And for project wise, so I know we have Kannibal Kitty 3 that's that's closing up, or that's finalized. And then we have, as you said, you may do up to 6. So again, very excited for that, and we'll see how that, you know, trickles down. But is there any other projects that you have in mind where you want to dive into your, you know, writing or the drawing side?
Me personally, or just us as a team?
You personally, but if you want to be as a team, it's up to you guys.
So, I think we always like talk about this as far as like Kannibal Kitty having like side stories. I would still love to do aside from her like main story arc, just because in doing this all, like I actually really love the creative side more than obviously the physical labor of packing up everybody's stuff. So, you know, we actually do have help in our warehouse, so it's kind of like
the team got bigger.
Now it does give me the freedom to be able to do a little bit more creativeness, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know I don't know if I want to stop. Like going to conventions and people actually ask me for a commission. I'm just like, oh my God, how cute. Like somebody wants to have a drawing like me. I'm just like, that feeling is pretty nice. I'm like, oh.
And I'm like, what do you want? I don't got time anymore. I'm booked.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, like, you know, I'm still working on stories for, like, he wanted me as soon as Kannibal Kitty Kickstarter 3 ended, he was like, all right, do 4 now, because if you want me to draw it, I'm gonna do Zombie Trap now, so you better hurry up and get on. And I'm just like, oh my God, okay. So
I'm still waiting for that script.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Get it.
Shut up.
Get it done.
Yeah, so we actually might have another artist that is gonna draw it.
If you guys out there watching, if you're an artist and you think you got what it takes to join the Still Ill, don't hesitate to go on the website and email us with clickable links to your art. You know what I mean?
But it has to be an artist who's fast as fast as
heck.
Because this guy, he does not have patience.
Yeah,
like working with him is just like he literally is just like, all right, get it done. And it
like
is a little bit intimidating.
Yeah,
You're like,
I like that with my colorists and everybody, but I want.
So you run a tight ship.
Yeah, I want 5 pages a week all the time, 5 pages a week or more, and that's just the way it is. I don't always get it, but yeah.
I think it's that whole background that he has from animation school, where it was just like cranking out stuff that he's just like fast, which is dope, you know, because it's like, look at what it's done.
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
You're able to crank out so much in so little time.
But not
for sure.
Everybody went to Cal Arts and has all that like experience.
No, for sure. No, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, you guys are talking about a potential, you know, a year with 5 Kickstarters, which again is going to be insane.
Yeah.
You know, cranking that out. I mean, you guys definitely have the drive, and like you said, if you manifest it, you know, you guys are able to do it for sure. So definitely kudos.
We just have to do it. We have to do it because Sugar Pop's on her last book next year, so we got to do 5 just to finish that out. And then and see how did we deal with doing 5 Kickstarters, and then evaluate it and see, was that just way too much?
Right.
I already feel like it's going to be way too much, but you know, I'm up for the challenge.
I mean, yeah, you always got to push yourself, right? You know. Right. So it's
push it real good.
Exactly. Put it in the background.
Yeah.
So again, speaking of Kickstarters, speaking of future projects, is there anything you guys have going on right now that you like, whoever's doing this, to know what's going on? I mean, you guys always have something going on. Either it's a Kickstarter or a new cover or an event. Sometimes you guys even have your own conventions while things were closed, which was again very.
Oh yeah, IlCon. Yeah, we have our calendar that we do every year. Starting last year was the first time we did it. It's
and it came with the bracelet at that time too.
Yeah, Tit for Tat. We like to do a calendar to send the proceeds to the Pink Fund to help out people who are suffering. And it's like people who are suffering with breast cancer and are still alive. Like they're just, you know, needing help with the whole process of like, you know, everything gets really expensive. So like housing and just like a whole bunch of different things to help people who are just trying to fight for their life, you know. It's not an organization who, you know, where it's just like, you don't know where these are going to, or the families are, you know.
When they say it just goes for research, I'm like,
right, this is more the human side.
Yeah, we want the human side. What about the people who need help now? You know, they're going bankrupt, but you know, and
they're killing themselves trying to save themselves. You know,
exactly. So it goes to that cause.
That's an amazing cause.
Yeah,
and it fits with our style, and also the fact that we have history. Like, you know, my grandma had breast cancer, his mom and his sister had breast cancer, so it's just like it really ties with us, especially with our characters. Like if you look at them, you're like, you know, we're pro.
Exactly. You guys get boobs. Absolutely. No, and yeah, I mean, that's another thing that you guys have never been shied away from. It's just you know, it's sometimes I know in the beginning there was a lot of smack for like, you know, showcasing this and that, but you can see that the characters that you've created, so both of you for that matter, have been, you know, badass. They've been empowered. They definitely, you know, take charge of their lives. And it's not just, you know, pinups all the time. And that, I mean, there's just crazy action, a crazy story. And again, if you haven't read any of these, you guys definitely need to get on it. It's like they say, it's a definite escapism. So it takes you away from, you know, this whole world and brings you into this, you know, immerses you actually into this whole new, this whole new world, which is great. No pun intended for Disney there, but yeah. So you guys definitely need to jump on that. But again, the tit for tat. So those calendars are still up. I think there's only a few left though. So you guys definitely want to grab that. And I think once the cutoff is done, you guys mentioned that is it for the calendars this time around.
because it already went to print, and we sold so many over the weekend that the amounts are low. So we only have like maybe 4 of the Risque Kinky covers and maybe 10 of the regular cube covers. So get on it, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
And then C2E2 is coming up in a couple weeks, so we'll be there in Chicago.
Yeah,
should be fun.
You should come on. You can cross the border now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they did.
It's easy to go across, but hard to come back.
Exactly. So, but yeah, hopefully when everything, you know, opens up, and hopefully it's soon. Definitely can't wait to hang out with you guys. I mean, we've hung out with Dan before. Knightmare, we still have to, you know, catch up and then go to those crazy pubs that, you know, Dan's been talking about.
Yeah, I'm down.
And we still have 2 things we want to mention. I know we said we're going to tie things up, but just before you guys go, we do still have our contest from the Dan Mendoza interview that is still going on. It ends on December 15th. So that is the cutoff point. So you can enter there. So you definitely want to check that video out, and definitely put in the comments, what did you enjoy from that video? That's all you need to do. Put a comment, subscribe, and you're entered to win. And in this video, there's actually a second contest. So in this one here, we have a giveaway with none other than Knightmare's first cover. So there you go. And
all right, I'm gonna hand that down to you. All right, got it?
So there's okay. So I'm just going to censor a few things. So here we go. So this here is an issue you guys can grab by commenting in the comments below, obviously, being subscribed, and because it is a issue that is a bit harder to get, we will just ask that you also share the video with all your friends and family. I mean, your grandmother definitely wants to know what's going on in the Kannibal Kitty world.
Dude, you know what? We need to like normalize this body like style that we draw, because I feel like a lot of people are just kind of like really messed up. Like there's nothing wrong with these girls. Like they're a little more voluptuous, but it's okay. Normalize that. Like it's okay.
It's not okay to body shame anybody. It's not okay to body shame the obese, to the skinny, to the curvy. It's all the same fucking bowl of soup. You know what I mean? It's just like
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like don't hate on someone who's curvy. Don't hate on someone who's fat. You know?
Yeah, some that are more cartoony or less cartoony.
If my art puts a tingle in your pants, don't get mad. Be glad. You know?
Exactly. And if it doesn't, then I mean, hey, at least you're there for other reasons. And throughout your different versions of the girls that you draw, you know, they've always had different shapes and different aspects. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I think your fans definitely identify and enjoy your art as well, because I think you have as much of, I think your audience is diverse as you know, as hell. You have like from a lot of different ages, demographics, but even the sexes in between. You nailed it all. So kudos on that. And you definitely want to hit up that contest. I mean, so there's 2 contests, like we mentioned. One on Dan, which is simply just to comment and to be subscribed. The one for Knightmare, because it's a more sought out issue. We would just ask that you also share it, and then put hashtag Team Pun Fun so I can actually see it amongst the social media universe. And we'll do a draw. And that one, the cutoff point will be January 1st. So you have a full month, just like the other contest, to get on board, and this way everybody has a fair try. And you definitely want to share this. I mean, there's so much cool content and exclusive behind the scenes that we don't usually get through our Friday shows. So yeah. Any last words or any last puns you'd like to share before we go?
Oh man.
On the spot.
Right, meow.
Right, meow.
Right, meow.
Yeah, exactly. We'll end this meow.
It's crazy.
Very awesome. Well, thank you guys again. This has been awesome as always, and I can't, super excited to have you on. And I mean, we're definitely going to have you guys on later on for the year 2022 for other projects and different discussions as well. It won't be as lengthy because now we have a bit more fleshed out, interview and understanding of who Knightmare Lynch is, and we also now know more of Dan as well. The future stuff is going to be more project oriented and maybe more collaboration as we go along. So thank you guys again. You guys definitely want to check out all of their links below. It's going to be all in the description so you can discover them. If you've already known them, I mean, hey, this is where we got the fresh scoop. Exactly. What's up to all the little fam. And yeah, take it easy, guys. Peace.